Well, good evening, Abilene. As promised, I wanted to come back before you and talk about four different areas. An update on San Angelo and Lubbock. Both those communities have put in place face mask ordinances. I'm going to read a summary of those ordinances and just interject my own thoughts in that regards. Also, I'll give you an update on a few gatherings that will occur in our community over the next few weeks. I want to talk to you about some private sector examples that are taking place that you ought to know about in our community. And then I want to discuss with you just some current numbers. So we'll talk about face masks, gatherings, what the private sector is doing in responding, as well as some current numbers. Um, Appreciate you for tuning in. And so last week, in fact, I'm going to read this. On June 25th, San Angelo issued the following order regarding wearing of mask. Um, all retail stores that have post occupancy of 100% or more shall require their customers who are 10 years or older and all their employees to wear a mask or cloth that covers the mouth and nose while they are within the store or within 6 feet of a person from another household when they are outside the store or on the store property. This is in San Angelo a violation and is a Class B misdemeanor. Could be up to $1,000 or 6 months in jail. On August 26, Lubbock issued the following orders regarding wearing of masks. All commercial entities providing goods and services directly to the public must develop and implement health and safety policy which shall require at a minimum that all employees wear face coverings when in an area performing an activity or service which will involve close contact with coworkers or the public where 6 foot separation is not feasible. For gatherings in excess of 100 people, individuals are required to wear face coverings where social distances is not feasible. Individuals visiting city facilities or events at city facilities are required to wear face coverings. The provision applies to city employees and volunteers as well as visitors. Face coverings must be worn to cover the nose and mouth. No person will be fined. Now I'll get to that. So that is ordinances both from San Angelo as well as Lubbock. Now in San Angelo, it was neither the county or the city who put this in place, but rather the health district. In Lubbock, it was the city of Lubbock. The problem with requiring face masks at this time is that GA 28, and reminder GA 28 is the governor's order, doesn't allow a municipality or a county to issue a fine. So in Lubbock, and just bear with me and listen to this. So in Lubbock, they have a pretty comprehensive ordinance, but the fine is $0 for a business and or a citizen. So when Stanley Smith, and Stanley Smith is our attorney, asked him to give me a breakdown. When he said that, I was kind of taken aback. So they have an ordinance here, but there is no fine for the city of Lubbock for a business or for a citizen. Now in San Angelo, there is a fine for a business, but not a citizen. GA 28 under the governor's order does not allow a fine to be issued to a citizen. Now that could change. He could change his orders, but as stands, it's not feasible. And so I want you to be aware, because many of you have asked me about the ordinances both in San Angelo and Lubbock, and so I wanted to be sure that you were aware of that. I'll give you an update. So in the next few weeks, there are some events that are scheduled. One event is and it's this weekend, the Abilene Freedom Festival. And we have the West Texas for Life event that I'm going to talk about in a bit, an event that I was invited to Mulligan's outdoor event for the Ben Ritchie's Boys Ranch, and then graduation for Abilene High in Cooper. This morning, I got an email from the organizer of the Abilene Freedom Festival, and this is what they have done themselves. They have not, they were not given a directive from me or the city. But this is what they've done in response to the current infections in the state. Every entry at the round building where the event will take place in the entryway, there are scanners that will check the attendees' temperature before they can enter the area. Also, once inside the area, they'll be practicing social distancing. And what they're doing is not allowing families who are not of the same household to be within 6 feet. And they've imposed that. They also have hand sanitizers available for persons entering the event, as well as hand sanitizers throughout the expo grounds. They are not requiring a mask be worn, but they're asking you to wear a mask. So you won't be denied entering, but they're asking you to wear a mask. Also, they'll have available masks if you don't have a mask and want to wear one. Additionally, they've hired a business, Germ Killers. They'll be sanitizing all the children's events and equipment every hour. Also, they brought in some portable restrooms, and in each restroom they have hand washing sinks that are available. They'll be sanitizing in the VIP area. They'll be sanitizing in the OSI frigid zone in the round building. They'll be sanitizing also in areas Black Plumbing and Maverick Saw Cutting in the entertainment stage, and in the open area again on the fairgrounds. They think they have enough for social distancing. And so that is what they put in place and want you to know about that. And I'm supportive of that. Also, I want to mention to you about an event this weekend. West Texas for Life is organizing an event that I spoke of last night. I was not the organizer of the event, but I was invited. And I'll say this, not making an excuse, but I've been a little busy over the last month. It should have been worded differently. Now, West Texas for Life, communicate with media outlets and disseminate the material. This is not meant to be an official mayoral event where I grab a proclamation that was purchased with taxpayer dollars and print on taxpayer paper and go out to the event and present it. Rather, I'll be given material that they have printed. And so I'm not apologizing for going to the event because I support the event, but I'm supporting the event as Anthony Williams, not a citizen of Abilene as much a citizen of the kingdom. With me, I believe that David McQueen from Beltway will be there, Scott Beard from Fountain Gate, Chuck Farina from the Hope Congregation, James Webbs, I believe, will also be there. Ian Nickerson, I think, will be there for the ministry congregation, and there'll be some others. And so this event is really done to try to highlight an opportunity and make a statement. Additionally, the organizer wanted children to participate. This morning they canceled that event, so it will not be the 200 or 300 children there. It'll just be a few speakers, so I want to be sure that you're aware of that. Mulligan's outdoor music event, they'll be held on July 17th, benefiting the Ben Ritchie's Boys Ranch. Gate opens up at 6:30. And one thing that they're doing, and they're not requiring, but they're asking all participants to wear a mask. There'll be sanitizing stations on site, and they also are encouraging social distancing. Again, this is an outdoor event, always a great event. I think tickets are $20 in advance and $30 at the gate. Also, you have graduation for Abilene High in Cooper. Abilene High will have graduation on July 17th, Cooper July 18th, and Adams on July 18th. Each ticket has a health. Each ticket that is sent out, distributed, must come back with a health screening that has to be filled out by the attendee. They'll be checking for symptoms of attendees as they enter the stadium. They will limit each graduate to a total of 10 tickets in the initial handout. The district personnel will be wearing face masks, and they will recommend to graduates and attendees to also wear face masks. They have set up social distancing protocols and seating in the stands to ensure 6 feet apart in each non-family group. All graduates will be in chairs on the turf, and those chairs will be set up 6 feet apart in every direction. No handshake between graduates and district personnel. They'll try to combat the heat because it will be warm on those evenings. But that is something they wanted you to know. Additionally, I had correspondence from First Financial Bank today. First Financial Bank on today are requiring all their employees, so all 1,500 employees and 500 in Abilene, to wear a mask. There should not communication to employees for that to happen today. They also have a campaign that says, "We are masking for you. Will you mask for us?" And so they're working with Henry Medical Center to disseminate that information. The local restaurant on Cypress Street, all food preparers and servers are wearing masks and gloves. United Grocery Store communicated that every employee is wearing a mask, and they've hired dedicated housekeeping staff to disinfect every cart as it comes in, as well as high traffic areas. Spoke to the Abilene Black Chamber today, the Hispanic Business Council today, and then the Greater Abilene Chamber, and they are indeed going to ask some of their members, the business community, to put in safety protocols. All that to say this. Right now, the city, not Abilene or any other city, has a means to make someone wear a mask. That could change. But in reality, I think the private sector is doing what the city can't do. The private sector is allowing the marketplace to dictate what will or will not happen. And you as a consumer, you can make a decision to either go there or go someplace else. This is very, very fluid. I'm not sure what next week will look like. The state last week had a significant increase. In West Texas, it has had an increase. And so, and sorry about that, I'm dry mouth. Let me take a sip of water. These are numbers today. Lubbock, Texas has 2,000 total cases. 1,160 are active cases. They've had 51 deaths and 41 are in the hospital. Amarillo, that county has had 3,717 total cases. 1,127 are active cases in that community. They've had 46 deaths and 17 are in the hospital. Wichita Falls, as of Friday, they've not updated their records yet. They had 300 total cases, 211 active cases. 2 have died from COVID-19 in Wichita Falls, and 6 are in the hospital. That was as of Friday. Odessa today announced they had 900 active cases. 562 are active. 7 have died, and they have 37 in the hospital. And I believe they have 12 that are in ICU. So Angelo today announced 379 total cases and 183 active cases, 2 deaths, and 15 are in the hospital. Big Spring has 26 total cases, 12 that are active, 1 death, and none are in the hospital. Now, Big Spring is a county in Howard County of 36,000. Every other community has 100,000 plus. Midland today reported 651 total cases, 458 active cases, 14 deaths, and 16 are in the hospital. Abilene, Texas today has 366 total cases, 83 active cases, 5 deaths, and 6 that are in the hospital. And I'll say this, Odessa, Texas, Ector County, 3 weeks ago, had around 175 cases, total cases, and less than 40 active cases. Again, their numbers today are 900 total cases and 562 active cases. A few weeks ago, they had very few in the hospital. I won't believe less than 5. They have 37 today. All that to say this, this is serious. I think some of us, since we've been facing this since March, we're done with COVID-19. The problem is COVID-19 is not done with us. COVID-19 will be an unwelcome guest in our community as well as our country until a vaccine or another cure is presented. I believe the best way to combat this is not for government to come in and tell you what you can and cannot do. I think the best way is for you to respond like you have responded. Abilene has done better than most of our neighbors in West Texas because most of us have taken responsibility for ourselves and respected others. This community used over $50 million in PPP funds to stand up our economy. And our economy took a hit. There are 15,000 in this reporting area that encompasses 19 counties that are out of work. 10,000 are in Abilene, Texas. And we have to go back to work. We don't want another governor-ordered shutdown. The only way to prevent that is to be responsible. We're going to continue to have infections, and the data says we're going to continue even having deaths in our country and in this state. But we are committed to doing all that we can. And we'll get through this. We are going to get through this. And Abilene, I think, will do a better job than most. As I said yesterday, and I heard this from Ian Nickerson, preached a great sermon yesterday, Ian. You know, today, our current condition, it will not be our conclusion. We are going to do better. Again, if you have any questions of me, my email address is anthony.williams@abilenetx.gov. That's anthony.williams@abilenetx.gov. Don't know what we will see tomorrow or next week, but as needed, I will continue to update you. Hope you found this information was helpful and insightful for you. We want to continue to fight the good fight. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you responding well, and I appreciate the private sector for doing a lot better than what the government could do, and that's just lead by example. And also I want to make mention to you that the Hispanic Business Council, as well as the Abilene Black Chamber, I believe they've received around 4,500 masks, and they want to provide those masks for minority businesses if you choose. If you're interested, give me an email, and I will forward you to the appropriate contact so you can get those masks. God bless you and Godspeed. Thank you very much.